I was born for this. I was born for this.
All right, welcome back to Cork'd Up. I'm Jessica Kleinschmidt.
And I'm Rachel Luba. Cheers.
We're joined by the ever wonderful, incomparable Dan Straily. Dan, thanks for joining us today. Are you drinking this morning, Dan? It's morning where you are. What is your drink of choice?
Well, my drink of choice doesn't exist in this country, but I play for Lotte, and I found out Lotte is like everything in Korea. Like they have apartment buildings and candy and department stores and just like everything you can think of, and they make a cold brew, and it's actually not bad. It's actually pretty good. And so
it looks green. Is it just the lighting?
I think it's just the lighting. It's like I just took it out of the refrigerator, so it's kind of like
I see.
It's always muggy in Korea, so it's just kind of It's not green; it's black coffee. Yeah. But I have 3 of them, so hopefully that can get me through to keep up with you guys while you guys sit here and drink your wine. So
yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks you can't join us. I mean, you don't even want like a mimosa or anything.
I'd love one, but I do have to work later.
Oh,
but
okay.
it's usual. Like when we do my podcast, my buddy drinks bourbon. That was the whole point. We were going to drink bourbon and talk about whatever. But again, we do it at 11 in the morning on my time. So I drink coffee. Yesterday it was Kirkland signature coffee. So at least I have something from America going for me. Yeah.
So Rachel, what's our wine word?
Our wine word is MLB.
Yeah.
So
it's going to happen. You mentioned, so you're in Korea, and I've been following your career forever. I obviously cover the A's now. I know you're with them for a little while. So I'm a little curious, just like right off the top of my head, media-wise, just because I've only covered sports in America, and you've been on the other side of it. So what was the adjustment to go from being an MLB guy on one side of the media to where you are now? Because I don't mean to sound rude toward us, but like I feel like Koreans love baseball way more than Americans.
That's not rude. You're right. But it's like the crowd is so different. Like we didn't get fans for very much. I'll get back to your question in a second. But I gotta address the other part first. Okay. We had like 20% fans, and like you look around the stands, and it was first of all, everyone wears a jersey of their favorite player, which was like very different than the States. And it was all like 20-year-old women in the stands. There was like yeah, everybody.
I love that.
Like that's like the biggest crowd in the KBO. I don't know. I seriously don't know. And I asked our translator like why I literally see very few guys up in the stands. And he said, he's like, they're there. He goes, they're higher up. Like but you literally, he's like, you can't beat the women to buying the tickets down low. Like they're always on it faster, and they show up, and like, that's like it's like this big thing to go. And you kind of had to go by yourself because they had to social distance in the chairs. But it was kind of fascinating how it was like, and I'm sure there's tons of men that are fans, but like the fan range, they said, is like, it's not like the older crowd, if you will, like kind of shows up to MLB games a lot. It's like literally like teenagers to like 80-year-olds. Like that's like the fan base. Like it's like just everybody just loves it.
Yeah. Everything
and you
America's
like
striving for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you walk down the street. I was walking through the streets the other day. Like I didn't travel with my team for a couple of days because we had 2-day road trips, which is another topic. But so I wasn't traveling with my team for a couple of days, and I was like walking through this like kind of not really a back alley. It's just like all the food, like a lot of the restaurants were just kind of like on side streets. And I was walking through this side street, and every single restaurant was playing our baseball game. Like every single restaurant. And then like when our game ended, like every single restaurant was playing like a different, like that's all they play is just baseball all day long. And so it's kind of like it is like the national sport, but it's like there's other sports too going right now over here, but it's like the one that like is followed the most, it seems like to me. But it is just just right off the bat, like not even media, but just like even the whole fan base is just so different over here.
Yeah, and I mean, we should probably preface who you actually are. You're a forward pitcher in the MLB, but not the MLB. Ew, I can't believe I just said that. In MLB. Yeah. That's so bad.
Don't you have to drink something whenever you guys say that word?
I'm going to drink twice because I said the MLB. That's gross.
And you said it 3 times now, but that's okay. Who's counting?
Oh, it's so embarrassing.
It really is.
Yeah, but you're a pitcher now. You're. Do you say the
counter.
say the KBO? Because you can
I
say.
don't think I've ever. You could. I guess you could say like I'm a pitcher in the KBO. Like I wouldn't say I'm a pitcher. I wouldn't say I'm a pitcher KBO. Like that is weird. If I just said.
So would you? But you would say KBO pitcher, or
I'm a KBO pitcher, or I pitch in the KBO.
so you
Yeah,
can't.
okay. So
What are we I'm the one. Out of this whole group, I'm the one that dropped out of college here. Why am I teaching?
I dropped out of college too.
Okay,
so
fair
I'm
enough.
the
Okay.
only educated person here.
the only educated one.
We get it. You went to UCLA. Like, we get it.
Reach,
You know, Kilburns.
pass like a bar and stuff. Like, good. I pass bars all the time.
You pass bars, we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
I
know.
walk past bars a lot. Like, it's,
Yeah,
I see them.
and they're probably playing the baseball game, which is kind of cool.
They are playing the baseball games, but it's
Really? I was like thinking about that. Like, I just miss going because this is like what I do when the guys are on the road. I would just go to like my favorite bar down the street, have a glass of
Absolutely.
rosé because I'm a lady, and order my favorite salad and just watch Jesus Luzardo on the mound. It's just like that's what I like to do on my off days, which is kind of is that the thing?
I pegged you more for a steak or like burger kind of girl.
I mean, it depends. There's just like the bar down the street has this amazing buffalo chicken salad. So it's basically
Okay,
chicken
that's
wings.
fine. I
It's
got it.
chicken wings on top of like lettuce, and they're
Yeah.
like, I call it a salad. Like,
Dan, do you miss American food? I know we were talking about this. I feel like it was like during spring training or something. When was it First Watch you saw or something that I was at? And
yeah.
and you were like, oh man, what I would give to have
Well, first
breakfast.
Watch is like my son's like one of like the few breakfast restaurants he'll like eat like his own food at. Like instead of like us being like, hey dude, you want to try this? Like he'll just be like, we get him like the pancakes or the bacon or just like the side. He'll just like you chop it up and he just like he loves it. But so like the First Watch, and we don't have any of those in Central Oregon, but it's just kind of like I saw that and it just like reminded me of him. A lot of stuff reminds me of my family that I'm over here without them for so long. But yes, we like found ourselves after so many months like just searching not for Korean food but for American food, which sounds, and it's harder to find than expected. But then I started meeting some really interesting people. Like I went to a guy's restaurant the other night that he spent like 30 years in the shoe industry.
Yeah.
I was pretty high up with Vans and Nike, and like now he just owns like a restaurant here in South Korea, and him and his girl just like they run this restaurant, and like they don't like, they do it for fun, not to like make a big living, if that makes sense. Like they have a Rolls Royce and a Bentley around the corner, and then they just like cook and she's the waitress. Like it's just for fun. It's like literally her first job ever. But like he just cooks American food and it's awesome. We have this fancy steakhouse here called Outback that we go to.
Nice.
It's like seriously the most, it's like a Fleming's in the States here. It's like not the same thing. We like jokingly went there the first time. We were like, why are these steaks $70? Like kind of like what, but like it was seriously like it was like a Fleming's type restaurant in Korea. It's not the same. And then the other one we go to, it's this little burger spot called Shake Shack that there's like 3 of them, and one of them happens to be like
never been to Shake Shack.
10 minutes from our house. It's
Shake Shacks there?
they do. There's a couple Shake Shacks here in Korea.
But they serve serve
yes.
wine, right,
Surprise.
with their burgers.
They do what?
They serve wine with their burgers, right? Like you can do that.
They have canned wine there. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
They have beer, wine, yeah. But then they just try to get you to buy like their milkshakes, but gotta say no to those. They're
are you like trying to watch your figure?
no, definitely not. But if you're trying to go have a burger and fries, I think the calorie count is high enough at that point to then add a milkshake on top of it. Or you just say like, I'm already here, might as well go for it.
I'm the opposite. I'm like, well, I'm gonna.
You're like,
If I'm
here, I might as
already,
well go for it.
Yeah.
If I'm ready to go into this deficit today, yeah, no,
I like I like Diet Coke. I genuinely just like the taste of it. So I'm like beyond. I want a double fries and I want a Diet Coke just because it tastes good. I don't like when people are like, oh, okay, like where I'm like, no, I just like the taste of it. Do I look like I care? No, like honestly, that's what I want.
Wait, Dan, are you a player who is watching, like trying not to go over a certain number of calories, or are you one of those that is trying every day to like hit a certain number and try? Because I know plenty of players that, I mean, I wish I was them. They're constantly like, I need to get 3,500 calories. I'm like, oh geez.
Oh yeah, you're like, yeah, humble brag.
Yeah.
No, I can't be like that. I used to be a really big guy in college, and I had I had to go through this pretty long, not fun, like weight loss part of my life, and like I ended up having I lost like 50 something pounds, and so it was, I have to pay attention. I always have to, but like sometimes you just got to play for the tie, like go for that extra long run or workout just because I know I'm going to Shake Shack later. Like, but anytime we pitch, like thanks to technology these days, I wear a Whoop band and I trust it. So when I'm pitching, I know how many thousands of calories I'm burning. So it's I can pick and choose sometimes to go have some burgers and fries for sure.
No, it's really cool. But okay, so I guess we can go back to the media question, because I'm genuinely curious. Like, it's difficult to kind of define that right now. We're obviously going through a pandemic, and my coverage is totally different. Like, I talk to the guys over Zoom now, but I guess before that, and the reason why I'm curious is like I'm one of those few people who I'm still a fan of the game, and so sometimes my coverage is a little bit different. I genuinely care about the guys. I mean, yeah, you're gonna do cool shit, but I'm definitely curious. What was the stark difference right when you got to KBO compared to what you were used to in the States as far as the media coverage goes?
Yeah, so because of COVID, I actually like haven't had like the KBO experience that would be typical. Like usually there'd just be reporters in the club or in the dugout. They're not allowed in the clubhouses here. They just be in the dugout. So like as you walk from like your locker out to stretch, like you get stopped and asked questions by whoever wanted to ask you questions. Like, so it's kind of the same setup, but it's in the dugout, not the clubhouse.
Yeah.
And then after games, it'd be the same kind of thing. Like, there'd be a designated space that like they'd basically like call you out and you go out and talk to them if they wanted to talk to you. But since that's not the case, like they get to talk to one person after a game. So like if you do well, yes, you go talk to them. But like at the same token, like if you don't do well, like they don't talk to anybody from the losing team because they get to talk to one person. So they're always going to talk to the person from the winning team. So it's kind of very different, but also I don't speak or read Korean. Like I know what that sign says because it's in English right below it.
Okay.
But like other than that, like I trust that they're the same. Like I just have to trust it. It says descending lifeline. There's like a rope here. I'm at a hotel.
What does that mean?
There's like a rope right next to me, and I guess if
There's
there's a fire, I'm supposed to jump out the window with this lifeline.
I used to have those when I was little in my bedroom, because I was up on like the second story, and we had like these ladders that apparently if there's a fire, I have to like use it to get out.
Then like call it a ladder, because I'm like freaking out when I hear descending
Lifeline. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, and isn't it cheaper just like font wise to just call it ladder? I don't know. Like I've seen print like screen things.
I don't think they charge. Do they charge by the letter? I mean, I'm not in the printing industry.
I don't know. Rachel, you go to college, don't they charge for fucking everything like that?
Yeah, but hold on. If you call it a ladder, I don't think what if someone just wanted to like get something high up in their room? Like they don't want you using it for.
That's fair.
It's like you got to put this belt on, and it's like a pulley system. And
yeah, so they don't want people like rock climbing in their.
Yeah, it looks like a rock climbing apparatus, but it's a descending lifeline.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Let's hope I don't have to use it during the airing of this podcast.
Yeah, I just feel like there's
Let's
other.
do that.
I feel like that's another podcast.
Yeah, but so I don't speak the language, and I don't read the language. So whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, like I have spent, I guess we're in month like 5 or 6. I don't know. We're at game 100 something, and I have not read an article about myself. I have not seen an article about myself. I have not heard anything.
Probably for the best.
And I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Like I've been having like a really, really good season, and like I go pitch well, and then I go home and talk to my family and play some video games and go to bed. And it's like just repeat it. Just keep repeating it. Like there's no like, you don't read into anything. You don't like it's just, it's been different, but also like kind of welcomed at the same time because like, I can admit this because I've stopped doing it, but I used to be the guy that like would search my name on Twitter and then be like,
most players do that.
oh yeah. So it was opening day 2017 was the last time I did it. And I know that because, it was my first start of that day. It was my first start as a Marlin. And like, it did not go the way that you want your first start in a uniform to go.
Yeah.
And so afterwards I like walked into the clubhouse and like I was like sitting there and on my phone. I like deleted Twitter just off my phone, and then like knowing I was gonna get it back like a couple hours later, but just like in the moment, like I did, like I'm not gonna like look into this. And like I got back on my phone. I was like I'm done reading that stuff. Like I'm done like searching it. And it sounds weird, but like it's just like everyone cares so much about what people think about themselves.
Oh, it's
Think
so
about
bad.
you almost.
so bad.
It is.
Twitter kind of propels that desire to know what people are saying. And regardless of it, like whether everyone knows it doesn't actually matter, but then it's like, it's hard to find someone that will tell you genuinely that if some random egghead troll says something bad about them, that it doesn't bother them a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I preach to people too. Like, it's okay if a stranger kind of hurts your feelings. Like, sometimes it's just gonna bug you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't unread, hey, Dan, I hope you die. You're like, well,
Yeah.
like, thank you. Like, I know I gave up a couple runs, but, you know, I'm not out here by myself, dude. But you can't say that kind of stuff. You're just like, yeah, have a nice day. Like,
Yeah, I totally
like,
agree. That's
I always say to people, like, can you just think about for a second, like all these regular people out there that on your worst day of work, having media, you have to answer to media about why you did so bad. On your worst day, you're already probably upset to begin with. And it just like, it sucks. And I'm always blown away though, like the amount of people that will go out of their way to go find somebody that had a bad day and say something even worse, like say something really bad about them or to them or whatever. Like, how do you do that as a person? I don't know. It blows my mind.
I was in the outfield in Pittsburgh one time, and this like, I don't know how old he was. I'm gonna guess like mid-50s guy was up there just like, hey Dan, I hope you really, really suck when you face the Pirates in a couple days. And I was like, I hope you get fired from your job too, sir. And
that's true.
he like seriously, like his face was just like stunned, and I left. Like I just went to a different part of the ballpark. Like the next day, I'm in like left field now. That was like in right center. I'm in like left field shagging batting practice, and all of a sudden I hear, "Hey Dan," and I turn around, it's the same guy. I'm like, what do you got today, man? Is it more interesting than what you said yesterday? And he was like, actually, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Like I never thought of it that way. And I was just kind of like,
that's
okay.
Like,
Like
that's, I don't think people think of it that way.
One person.
There's a butt. Bring on the butt.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, but one person, like you can't sit there and like I'm not like teaching lessons to people. Like I'm not like, you know, I'm just like, it's just like basic human stuff where you're just like, but maybe that one guy will tell somebody else, like just share that with somebody else and share it with somebody else where it's kind of like, you know what, like we don't need to hear how much we suck or how good we are, it seems like, because like if we get to keep our job, we know we're good, and if we don't, then we know we got to work on something. Like it's like we almost don't need to hear it. And some of my favorite ones are
y'all's lives are so public too, like everything.
Everything
from fire to how much you're getting paid to like
that's my favorite.
Everything.
My youngest brother was telling me the other day, because I think I sent a Snapchat or something to him of because Griffey's still getting paid out by the Reds from a contract, you know, from years ago. And I always love, like, Bobby Bonilla has one like that, and I love contracts like that. And I put a Snapchat or something of it, or it might have been on my Instagram story, and he was like, it's so odd because in any other industry, like that would be super inappropriate to put someone's salary like up there. You would never ask someone their salary. You wouldn't know their salary. And it's an inappropriate question. But then for you guys, I mean, we don't even know half of like what owners make and all that, but everybody knows what you guys make. It's an odd thing.
I won't say which team I was on, but I had a manager one time make a comment about my salary. And so I turned to him and said, "Okay, how much do you make?" And he like buttoned up and like walked out. And I was just like why are you talking about my salary when you won't even mention, like, because it's not, yours isn't public, managers aren't public. So
Right.
like, you won't even mention how much you're making, but like you're gonna make a comment about mine. And I was just like, okay.
And I feel like that's
Like, it's
important
just,
though, to like, even, and I'm not saying like I'm anybody, and like because it's weird. I'm from Reno, so everybody in Reno thinks I'm famous, but like obviously I'm not. And so it's just because like I'm on A's pregame live sometimes, like that's it. And it's weird because they're like, oh well, like you're this, that, this, and that. So they feel like, so when I'm getting harassed on social media, they're like, oh, we'll grow a thick skin. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's such a good idea. Like I didn't even think about that. Like,
why
and
didn't
then
I think of that?
and they're Bob sitting in their cubicle and they're 9 to 5 when they're talking on Messenger to their BFF 3 cubicles over. And it's like, you wonder why your BMI is so big. You won't stand up and go talk to him. You have to go Instagram him or AIM, whatever it's called. And it's like, then that's the thing, they don't understand it. It's like, you don't understand, like, or it's like, you know, because I struggle with anxiety too. People are like, just relax. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's such a good idea. Thank you.
That's the anxiety thing to me is always like, I think it's anyone who has like any sort of fame on social media, or you know, if you're in the media or anything like that, I have to say certain things, but sometimes like it's very much, if you know me, that's not my personality sometimes. Same thing with players, like on the field, the way like fans don't really truly know the persons sometimes behind the guy wearing the jersey on the field. And there's a lot people deal with anxiety, like it's not their actual personality, you know, just all these things that people are so mean to them. And you guys, like, everyone's so dehumanized if you have a big follow
robots.
And it sucks. And I know, like, Dan, you've had to deal with that just playing in the US. So I mean, I guess it's nice, you know, it's nice to go.
Well, I think part of it too is like, I think that's also why some people don't want to use their platform of social media. Like they don't want to post where they go eat or what they're doing, because people will be like, I had a buddy one time, he like loves playing Call of Duty on video games, and he's in the major leagues and he's a Yankee, and he's like, the last thing I want to do is like, I'd really love to like share this like with my fans, but at the same time, like the last thing I want to do is like go play the night after I was like 0 for 3, and then have people just be like, oh, why are you playing video games? You should be in the batting cage. Like he just like, so he's like, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it to him. And some people, that's just how they think, and that's fine. And like, I had people get on me this year, like, 'cause I was on Twitch after our team lost, and they're like, do you think it's really appropriate to be on here? And I was like, yeah, it's appropriate to block you because I'm playing video games in my free time. It doesn't matter if my team won or lost today. And he was just like, oh, I didn't think of that.
No,
I hate that.
But you're not like allowed to do that. It's
no, like players all the time. And that was one of the things Bauer had during spring training, he hosted for minor leaguers, like a branding workshop. And they brought in one of the heads of like Instagram partnerships for athletes and things like that. And they were talking, it was just kind of this open mic thing. And they were talking about, I guess the minor leaguers were saying that was one of their biggest kind of fears about posting, because they were encouraging them to, you know, you have to start posting more. And they were like, well, one of the biggest fears was that they don't want to post like before a game or before a start or something, because then if they play badly, then they get hate for posting before a start and they weren't focused. And then if they post anything or say anything on social media after like a bad start, a bad game, whatever, then they get shit on. And, you know, like, you're not supposed to be, why you shouldn't be paying attention to social media, or you should be focusing on doing better on the field. And it's like, you know, everyone gets to go home and just have, you know, a normal life for a sliver of the day, even athletes. And the fact that you guys can't is frustrating, or that people can't accept it.
But there's like, it's such a double standard too, because there's so many times like I've been, I don't know, like walking through like a restaurant and seeing like a staff member like on Facebook or like at like a convenience store leaving and see like the person have like Instagram open at the cash register. Like you see that kind of stuff everywhere, like every job. Like I've like, you know, but like if I like a picture at 6:23, people are like, your team plays a game in 7 minutes. And I'm like, cool, I play in 4 days. Like, I'm fine. Don't worry about me.
And
like,
you
I'll be out there
shouldn't
for
even
the
have to, like,
anthem.
explain that though. It shouldn't
No,
even.
and
Yeah.
and like I don't explain that kind of stuff, but like when people like actually take the time to like notice those things, you're like, yes, my team does play in a few minutes. Congratulations. Like I hope you watch and go buy a jersey, maybe a ticket, like support the system. Like come on. But it's just it's such a double standard, but like it's one of those double standards that's probably never gonna change. And like it's just kind of like when we want to do this as ball players, like it's just part of what comes along with it. And I think that you just kind of have to understand it. Like our jobs are going to be scrutinized more than other people's jobs. And like, that's okay. Like people are going to feel like they need to tell us how much we suck or how good we are. And like, that's okay. But at the same time, like I've heard people yell at like Scherzer how much he sucked because he gave up some runs to the Marlins before. And it's like, well, it's Max Scherzer, guys. So like, he really doesn't. And no one on this field does, because this is like the top whatever percentage of people in the world that can actually do this. No one here sucks. We all have bad days. Like leave us alone. But at the same time, people feel like they buy the ticket, they show up to your social, and they get a voice. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, were you? Because I mean, like you know kind of what you're getting into going into it, but we all like learn lessons type of stuff. Like even with my job, I was like, oh, cool, I get to be on TV, I get to like write about my favorite team, but like, and Rachel knows, like, there's a lot of bullshit I have to deal with, but I had to like learn it. But I didn't learn it until I was kind of more ass deep into it. So like, did you ever have like a situation where you're like, Zan, I don't know, Dan, like, come on, man. Like, it's just like the first thing I thought of, ass deep. Is that the word? I don't know. When I like made a name for myself, that sounds conceited though too. When like I got.
No, just be you. Okay. If you want to say conceited things, just say conceited things. You're fine.
Yeah, and I am like, fuck it. Like it's whatever. But like at the same time, like, because I also don't like complaining about it, because like I prayed for this and I worked hard, but at the same time, like I deal with annoying ass shit and like stuff that like I'm always nervous, and I'm always texting Rachel like, should I have tweeted this? Like, am I gonna get in trouble? Like, and I don't know if she's the best or the worst person to ask.
The worst, for sure, the worst. Because I don't have a boss. I don't
like legal advice. Like, could I get sued for this? Like, kind of deal. But like, because I have obviously a foul mouth, and like the place I work for, I'm always nervous that I'm going to get in trouble or just something. But it's like, that's literally who I am. And you'd think that they would know hiring you, but it's also like, it sucks that I have to even think these things, you know, like I just kind of want to tweet that I hate a certain thing, but unfortunately sometimes I can't. It just sucks.
Yeah, I have the same, because I can't say anything bad about a player, because like, you know, if I'm representing players, and like certain things with like Astros stuff, like I can't touch it. And like, there are things, that just sucks that you can't really do, but I think you accept it. But
there is a momentum sweatshirt that I want to wear when there's a certain player on Zoom on the A's that I want to coincidentally be wearing.
Yeah. Well, I have refrained from wearing certain momentum sweatshirts, but Dan, do you find that in South Korea, can you tell yet, I guess, with how things are different this year though, do fans seem to hate, and I guess there's a language barrier, but do fans seem to like hate players the way there are fans that hate players in America?
No, like,
dude,
I've had, like, it's just different. Like, I'm serious. Like I've thrown 22 or 23 starts, and like 20 of them have been great, if you will. And like 3 of them have been like, yeah, let's move on.
Yeah.
And of those 3, like I still get messages from fans and after games every single time. But those messages are like, you're fine. You got this. Like, it was hot today. Like, we know, we believe in you. Like, hey, you know, I'm sorry that you don't have a better defense behind you. Like, literally, these are the messages I get from fans after games.
Human beings.
Like just.
But they're like,
cool.
Well, and like the last one, like I gave up 7 runs, and it was just annoying. And like, we won the game. Like, my team won the game still. because I still went 6 innings. Like I just kept going. Like I threw up zeros at the end, gave our guys some time, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, I leave the game and we score 10 runs. And like, but the fans are just like so like, hey, like you've been great all year. Like we don't care. Like just please just come back next year. They're like, that's like they all say like that too. They're like, can I like we know you're doing great. We know that sucks, but like just come back next year. It was a hot day today. We know that. And you're like yeah, but every day is hot. Like I get it. Like
Up 7 runs. Like
they what?
If Trevor
Yeah.
up 7 runs, like
People would be like,
they'd be like, I hope your mom gets cancer. Like
yeah,
that's
100%.
and it's so messed up. But
yeah.
well, good to know that the fans are better, abroad.
You think that makes it easier though? I don't know.
No, but last year there's a big but on this. Last year the team was not good that I'm on. Like they were last place, like they were like 35 games out of like the playoffs, which is like 50 games out of like first place. Like they were not good. Like they almost lost 100 games in a 144 game schedule. And they like at one point, Lee Dae-ho, like the former Mariner, Lee Dae-ho is like the most famous Korean baseball player. And he was like, I guess, walking back into the dugout like after like a strikeout or something. I don't know the exact situation, but like, he was coming back in the dugout and fans literally threw chicken at him. Like they don't have like hot dogs and like popcorn.
Wait, like how is the chicken cooked?
Like chicken wings?
Like, no, like fried chicken. Like that's like, yeah, you just need to visit Korea for some fried chicken. Like they don't really do chicken wings. They just like chop up the whole chicken and then throw it in the fryer and it's delicious. But they literally threw like chicken at him. Like
I wouldn't be upset, but I mean,
but at the same time,
yeah, I'd be like, let's go.
Instead of roses, throw chicken at Jess.
Throw chicken at me. I'm like, let's go. Let's do this.
And buffalo chicken salad with rosé. Yeah, we're getting it. We're getting it down.
You know how
but it's like, so they kind of have, I think it's both ends. Like there are those people still like that's no matter where you go, like you're going to have those people.
Yeah.
But you're also, but the people too, like a lot of the nice people, like still voice their opinions, where I feel like a lot of times, like that stuff exists in America. That stuff exists. People just don't say it as often. It's like, how often do you like,
I have to get my wine opener because I'm going to open another bottle.
How often do you like leave a restaurant and you're like, oh, I have to leave such a great review today because they did so good. But it's like, we don't know. We're not really wired that way. But like, if you think about it, like if you just like walk, like, I need to speak to your manager, like, hey, so-and-so did such a good job today.
Yeah. It's
like
only
we just don't really do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Our expectations are that everyone is going to perform at this very high level and everything is going to satisfy us completely. The only time we ever voice our opinions, if you don't say anything, that it means it was that, like the status quo. But the only time we tend to say stuff is when I think it's like it does not live up to what we just expect. And we expect a lot, I think. But I mean,
I think our expectations just
y'all already expect enough from yourself, and I know people don't like understand that, but it's like you have to go home defeated because you know what you did. And when I growing up, the guys I played with were always like they were worse on themselves than any of us could ever be. So it's like we understand that they hate themselves. So let's not be the cherry and the whipped cream on top and like add to that, Yeah.
I tell people all the time, like I can never really get mad at what people say anymore because like my expectations for myself are so much higher than what anybody would put on me. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, it doesn't really matter like what other people think because I already know that, like I expect myself to be at this like high level and and it's just kind of the way it goes. But like, I think we all do that no matter where you are, like no matter what you're doing in life, like we all have expectations of what we like should expect from ourselves. But it's just like so many people they're just not public. So no one notices if you have a good day, a bad day, like it just doesn't really get noticed.
Yeah.
Right. I agree.
That's very true. Bob with the 9 to 5. Nobody notices when he F's up.
Yeah.
Or when I get a typo, same dudes come out of the troll work like, oh, I hear you're talking shit about Jess Kleinschmidt. Can I add?
Yeah. So, okay, tell us, so we've got the media down. Talk to us a little bit about the differences because there are significant differences, I think, in the different types of contracts that you can have in America in MLB versus when you go overseas, because you guys can get different kinds of performance bonuses too that we can't get players here, right?
Yeah, I think so. Like the weirdest thing was like when you first come here, the most money you can make your first year is $1 million. So like, and most guys I thought got that. I was like, if you're gonna come over here, I feel like they put the cap there at $1 million for the first year, and like that's what everyone gets. I found out that's like not how it works. Like there's a lot of guys that are like half that, but like that's not the case with everybody. Like there's a few guys that are making the full $1 million the first year, but then the next year is like then it's just in straight up negotiation. Like, but you have 3 foreign players, and those 3 players, their cap for those 3 is $4 million. So like if you're paying one guy 2, obviously the other 2 guys can only make 1. So between the $4 million between those 3, and they want to keep it like as low as possible, and those 3 players hope it's $4 million every year. So like that kind of still caps out. And then they actually started a team salary cap of $10 million for all the Korean players.
Oh wow! So
yeah.
Can you guys do? Because I know for if you go play in the NPB, you can do bonuses like a certain number of home runs if you have a certain ERA. Whereas in America, in MLB, you can't. You can have innings pitched, you can have performance bonuses in terms of like plate appearances or innings pitched, but you can't have home runs, like actual production, ERA bonuses like that. Is that the same in the KBO?
I didn't ask for those, so I don't know if that's the same or not. I have a bonus structure in mind, because what they like to do is they like to protect themselves because the contracts are guaranteed. So like if you like if they just give you the full $1 million up front, then it's like if you get hurt, they have no insurance on their end. So like I have stuff for like innings pitched and quality starts, and they also have quality start.
Okay,
I do,
so that would be
but I
similar
also have and quality start plus, which is like they have their own stat here called quality start plus, which is 7 innings of 3 or less.
Interesting.
And so like I get an extra bonus if I go 7. But then if I go 8, there's no incentive for me to go 8 other than I add another inning on to my innings pitch bonus. Like so like all this kind of stuff. But then also like if you have a good game and you're player of the game, here's 500,000 won, which is like about like $450. Like they keep doing this, and like they just keep adding on like we call it like fight money. Like you just get like player of the game stuff, or like player of the month, you always get like $1,000. Like this is like it just like keeps adding, and it's like small. Those are smaller numbers, but like I feel like I haven't used my like American bank cards in like months because like I've just been spending the money that I've won essentially. And it's like, which is a nice bonus when I'm over here overseas, just trying to. I mean, it's weird. I can't go shopping. Don't fit anything. I can't buy shoes because they don't have size 12 men's shoes in this country. I don't think.
The humble brag.
Like I definitely don't fit in the shirts they have around here. So like,
I don't want to know what
Jess,
size.
we would thrive there. Jess and I are both 5 feet.
We're
so
small.
Yeah, we're pretty itty bitty.
Blend in very well. Like because here they think we're like 12.
Oh yeah, I'm like a child.
So there we would be like, oh, they're probably at least 24.
Yeah, we would be adults there for sure.
We'd be adults there.
I don't know because there's like I see people and I'm like, man, is that person's definitely like a teenager. And they're like, nope, 38. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, we would look really old, I think, there.
It's just there's like
I don't want to go.
It's like impossible. It's impossible. Like my translator looks like he's like 22. And I found out like he's 33, but I thought he was like mid 20s. And he's like, nope, 33. You're just like they just look so young. I understood like so many people look so young, like younger than they are over here. But you guys would be able to go shopping. The fashion sense would be different.
I was there,
Rachel and I were funky,
but we can make it work. But one of like my favorite parts when I was in Seoul was they have all the serious like warning signs. Like when I went on this hike and there's all these signs about, you know, like staying off from this ledge and all these things they're very serious, like government signs, but they have cartoon like characters on them and everything is like animated or whatever.
It's like, don't die, but be cute about it. Like,
but I love that. Like all the animated stuff is like, it's normal. Like here it's very childish and I feel like there it's not.
So is that considered more, I don't know how to even ask that question.
What?
Everything's so animated. Like how would you?
Well, it's just like more, right? Like have you noticed? I mean, yeah, it's very like they have cartoon, like they'll have like cute animated pandas on things and.
Yeah. Like we had to watch our sexual harassment video and it was like literally like pandas. Like
Thank
were like
you. That is what
they were.
That's
and
what
it was like that was this those were the characters for the sexual harassment video. And it was just like
that sums it up perfectly.
Like, okay.
Everything over there, it's like the serious stuff. They have these really adorable.
No, there's like emojis. There's like emojis wearing masks, and it's very like they have this. It's called Kakao, which is like I guess it's like their version of like the WhatsApp, but like it's Korean. Kakao is like another big time Korean thing. Like we use Kakao Taxi instead of Uber. Like it's just the same, but they this Kakao, like they have like their own like emojis, but like we thought we had emojis in America. Like they have like thousands and thousands and thousands of emojis. Like for everything, you can go buy like go buy like Lotte Giant like emojis, and like you pay you go buy like whatever you want. There's an emoji for it. Like if you're like anybody like famous, like there's an emoji for it. Like but you got to go pay for it. And so like they have all these kind of things, and like and people use it, and they're just like they get like ridiculous. But like you said, like. They're just a part of society. They're just a part of everything.
Luba needs to, like this is, you would have the most gorgeous emoji. I'm not even kidding, with your red ass hair and your gorgeousness.
I just wish they would make a red haired emoji, like doing like this, the sassy or whatever. And like that, because I only use, I'm sick of like, they have the redhead, but you can't, she's just like staring at you. And I
feel like this is a deeper conversation.
Anyways, if Apple's listening or anyone who works for Apple, if they could just make a redheaded emoji. Also, that'd be cool.
I feel like it's just rude to leave the redheads out. I guess I don't notice it anymore. I just feel like you're everywhere, Rach.
Oh, you're saying you don't notice redheads now? Wow.
Yeah.
Look at who else you're talking about. How do you feel about this? Thank you. You're a redhead too.
I was accidentally redhead once, for the record. I just didn't know how to do it.
I'm just red bearded though. Like this isn't red.
I feel like it's like it could be strawberry blonde. No, is it?
Yeah, that's a stretch. I guess
the beard makes you a redhead. I feel
now it's like salt and ginger though. Now there's like a little bit of salt coming in, so we're good.
Salt and ginger actually sounds like me and Rachel.
Salt and ginger. I'm not a real redhead though. I'm more of a
I stole that one. Salt and ginger was from Scott Feldman. We had our basketball team for the Astros. Every year we'd have like a bump championship or like a shooting competition at spring training, and me and him were teammates both years, and we were salt and ginger because he's just completely white, and so we were Salt and Ginger was our team name.
I love that.
And I've used it ever since. It's been my favorite way to describe my beard.
That is fantastic. I like it.
Dan,
smart guys.
I have to tell you a funny story.
She's like really uncomfortable about it.
Really uncomfortable.
Can't tell.
I've only asked for like one autograph in my life, and it was your autograph.
It was in Reno.
No, it was.
Where was it?
In Oakland. And
wait, Dan, do you remember this?
I don't think. Well, maybe if I tell them the story. So
let's hear it.
I was just a fan. I had not, so I was allowed to ask for, I hated autographs even before I became a reporter. And so it was during one of the fan fests, and I just finished talking to Casey Sogard because her and I are friends. And we asked you a question on like the A's Q&A, and my boyfriend at the time was a pitcher in college, and he was a big fan of you. He loved watching you pitch. And I was like, hey, like there's a Q&A and at the fan fest, like what should I ask Dan? He was like, ask him what round I should draft him in my fantasy league. And you immediately answered, you were like, that's what you said. You were like, first round. obviously. So
Obviously.
I found you. And I was like, hey, like I was the person who asked that random question. You're like, oh, okay. And you signed my card. And it was like a random A's card, but it was like the only like athlete autograph.
It should be up on the board right there.
It's in my Beauty and the Beast case, but like
Yes.
almost. It's almost there.
Yes.
But it was just like
I am excited.
Yeah. So
I'm excited to be your only autograph.
You're the only one I've ever asked for, because people send me autographs all the time thinking I like care about them, like whatever.
Oh.
Like I don't treat them well. I really should. Like I posed with the Craig Kimbrell signed ball for like a photo shoot, not realizing like I probably shouldn't have done that, but like I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, you're the only autograph I've actually ever physically asked for.
And the rest, they just give them to her.
They're just
That's her humble brag.
That is my humble brag. So
I love humble brags. Big fan of humble brags.
I'm like Luba did it once when she was like, yeah, I was just like randomly flying in first class. I'm sitting there like on my journalist salary, like that's cool.
I told you it's only because that's my agent lifestyle that I fly all the time. And so
Agent lifestyle, Dan. Okay.
Wait for it. Give it a few years. She's gonna be like, yeah, I was on the private jet between.
Hey,
yeah.
that's what I'm going for. Thank you. I'm working.
No, that's why we all do this. That's why we all work hard for this. Like,
it's for the PJ.
Sometimes
that's what you
do. She'll bring me like her like pretzels that she gets, but like
you can come on the PJ with me.
Yeah, no, like you think I'm in this for like a friendship, Rachel? Come on, like this is not.
She's like, yeah, I'll be a co-host with you, like assuming.
I'm like, sure.
There's gonna be a private jet.
Let's be real.
Just swing the PJ through Reno.
Yeah, the PJ. Well, I'm in the Bay Area now, but if you want to go to Reno,
sorry.
We can pick up my mom on the way home. But
Nailed it.
Yeah.
I actually I'm probably the only person in the world that will say this, but like I think I have an unofficial Reno stat that needs to be like addressed.
Okay.
I have made 6 starts.
So
I have 6 starts I've pitched in my career at that stadium in Reno. And I have 6 quality starts in Reno, Nevada.
Interesting.
I'm like, there's like no chance anyone's ever can say that they're 6 for 6 on call. And I think like half of those are like the definition, like 6 innings, 3
Luba
runs.
was just on a podcast, and she probably found that out too.
The Reno Aces GM. She's a badass chick.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, am I not supposed to call Jess? You got mad on Twitter for people's. Wasn't it you who called someone you don't like when?
I don't like being called like chicks, but
I
like
always just call because I don't want to say female.
I know, but I also exaggerate my hatred sometimes. I don't actually hate it.
So,
it's me pretending to have it. I'm Italian.
Anyone was offended. Yeah, if anyone was offended that I said chick, sorry.
I don't think that they were. There were way worse offensive things that you have done.
That is true. So yeah, but I have a bobblehead now of Bauer Reno Aces.
The bloody finger.
The drone, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That was
Is that one with his shoulder tube I saw in the background? He has a shoulder tube bobblehead.
Yeah, it's like super dark in here now, but I've got Clev, I've got Griffey, Judge, Posey. I've got a bunch more that won't fit up there, but
That's awesome.
People send me those. That's what I get, Jess.
You guys should get. You guys know that you can like make your own bobbleheads. You guys should get one for your podcast.
Can we get one? Hey, shout out to our podcast producers.
No, I only know this because I had Brad Ziegler was my teammate, and he one year for Mother's Day had a bobblehead made of his wife pushing the stroller of like their kids in there, like all their kids were in the stroller. No. It was like they spent time back and forth with like pictures, and like it was a custom bobblehead, and it was like honestly I was like it was such a cool like unique idea that I was like I got to use that someday because
do you have a bobblehead, Dan?
I do, and it's it's a AA bobblehead. And
yeah,
I'll tell you the bobblehead story in a second, how I knew I was getting traded out of Cincinnati if you want. But so they had a bobblehead. It was me and Sonny Gray were on the same bobblehead. And like neither one of us, like it looks like it's just like 2 random people, but it says Straily and Gray on the like it looks nothing.
Your name's on it, so it's you.
Yeah. But I don't have one. No, I my wife and I joked around, but it ended up being true that I got traded out of Cincinnati after I was like the pitcher of the year there in 16, and they send you this like cool award, and it's got like everyone that's ever won the award is listed on it, and it's like just like Aroldis Chapman and Cueto and like just like all these like, and then you go back in time and you have some like the great red pitchers of all time, and you're like forever on this award. But then the next year when they announced like for the media stuff that like I was not on one of the bobblehead giveaways, but like people that like there were like some prospects on there, and I was like, oh, that means we're getting traded. And sure enough, like 3 weeks later, like off to Miami. Yeah,
Well,
but I was like, so we figured it out. I was getting traded because I didn't have a bobblehead.
well, that's what they moved a Bowers, I think, bobblehead day last year in Cleveland to, I believe it was like supposed to be after the deadline and like earlier on. They moved it up just in case, because like they know, I mean, that'd be an awkward bobblehead.
It's smart to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like you plan that stuff. Like if someone could be like on the trading block, like let's do their bobblehead, which it took them like 6 years to even do a bobblehead for him. They never had a jersey in the store either in Cleveland, but they did a bobblehead eventually, like a week or two before he got shipped out of there.
They have it's such like a rite of passage. Like players get so like, it's such like a cool thing to have. You talk about things that like don't really matter, but like do matter. Cool.
Yeah.
Like you just like if you get a bobblehead of yourself, you're just like, yes, like you're like I've made it like
in life.
And like on the reverse side of that, like I was pitching in Dodger Stadium on Adrian Gonzalez bobblehead night.
Oh.
You talk about pressure when he comes up to the plate. And then like I'll humble brag, I struck him out 3 times. And and I was like scared for my life leaving the stadium.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was like, I just had so many of his fans show up to this game, and they're all so angry at me. They just wanted to see a homer, and I just did not want to be a highlight reel. And
that's
like I was just like, like you're just like, that's kind of just, I don't want to be seeing this forever, that he homered in front of 50,000 people on a 50,000 bobblehead night giveaway.
Well, how else do you feel like you made it? I feel like as a pitcher, because like bobblehead's pretty dope, but like I feel like Rachel has her things and I have mine was like a voiceover for my podcast, like the sexy voice guys, Jessica Kleinschmidt, NBC Sports. Like I'm curious, what else do you feel like you're like, oh, this happened, Daddy made it?
I think if you get like the jersey, the shirt jersey, I feel like that's a big one because they pick like 5 people.
Okay, that's very true. Yeah.
Yeah, like so we got bobbleheads, jerseys.
What team was the jersey for?
No, I haven't had one. I'm just saying like things that could make it. Come on, I'm a
he
journeyman.
hasn't made it yet, Jess. That's why we come back to the States so we can get you one.
No, they don't even have it here. I don't even have it here. And like I was getting messages and people were asking the team like, where's the Straily jersey? Like people, I was like, I literally like took screenshots of like a bunch of them, sent it to like my translator. Can you just hand this to the marketing team and be like, hey guys?
Yeah, tell them to get on it.
Luba and I will buy jerseys. Like no joke.
Their response was like, we can't do foreigners because they don't stay long enough, and so like it's too much work to like get foreigners, and then like if you're good enough to get a jersey, like then you usually don't stay. So like they're just kind of like, at least they're honest with it. But I was like, you guys, they're losing money by not trying to sell it.
Why don't you just you could either donate, like I don't know, that'd be probably a lot of money to like donate them, or just sell them yourselves, like make your own just jerseys and sell them.
We've talked about that. Like we literally, because like there's been like 3 or 4 things that I've done here. Like I made a T-shirt of one of my catchers.
Yeah.
He's just a super serious guy, and it was during the anthem. He just like we call it classic Junte. Like he never smiles, like nothing's ever funny to him, and he was just classic Junte picture during the anthem. And so we made a picture, and the team ended up blowing up, and the team ended up actually making their own version and selling the T-shirts. And then
so there you go.
I took a picture after a game. I was wearing the T-shirt, and then they made a T-shirt of me wearing the T-shirt.
Oh, it's like Jimmy G and George Kittle kind of thing. I like that.
Well, you just got me with that reference, but I'm sure you're good.
Or Justin Timberlake and Jimmy Fallon do it a lot. I'll send you the links later.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. And And like, so they have like a couple like little things like that, but like there's just like so many like marketing opportunities. These people are like over here, like the fans are just so excited to like be a part of things.
Yeah.
And like so many people tell me like, they're like, well, none of the players ever like interact with the fans like you do. So like, that's why the fans love me so much over here. But like, I started noticing like,
remember that I asked for an autograph, but like, sure.
I think I remember like being asked when I should be drafted. I think I was like you're probably the only person ever to ask me that.
That was my boyfriend at the time, but I'm gonna let him know. But yeah, I think it was also
you asked it.
What's that?
So it's on you. You asked it.
You asked it. You didn't have to ask it. You could have asked anything. You could have asked. The only question you could have said was, "Can I have an autograph?" But no, you chose like a different.
I would never.
But that's a common question.
That's actually a good point. I think I just walked up to you and handed it because like I also asked my favorite.
Well, Fan Fest, it's different. Like that's like that's like we're literally here just to sign autographs and talk. Like that's what we're here for. Like when you're at the game, like I'm literally here to try to get outs, not sign your jersey like of somebody else because I don't have one. So like I'm like that's like the whole like you're not.
I have a
getting the point
question, and only because.
Ooh, let's hear it.
Are you pro or con the home run statue?
I was pro home run statue when I was there because I used to watch some of my teammates just try to hit certain light bulbs on it during batting practice.
Right.
Like, which was funny. But like I've seen pictures of the stadium since they've taken it out, and like I think it looks way better. Like it looks a lot more like a baseball field. Now, part of that was like Jeff Floria was he was an art. And moved on.
Yeah.
Like when he sold the team and moved on, and they just moved it outside and built like something else there. Like it makes more sense now. It's more of a baseball field now. Like it was cool for that time and that space for the Marlins, but now they're having new ownership, new stuff, and so like it just wasn't fitting for where they were going. So like I guess you could say I was for it, but now that it's gone, like I'm fine that it's gone. Like I think either way.
Yeah, I was always curious, like from a pitcher's perspective, like what they thought about it. I love it because it's so extra, which same.
Well, but like I saw so many home runs there when it went off, and I never once actually saw it because you're busy watching the person run the bases. You're busy like getting excited about like your team just scoring runs, and like
you're just watching.
I never once like
okay.
Yeah, because like usually like you're sitting and you gotta like shuffle off the bench and like go get it ready for the high five line, and like you're like not, or you know, or you're just excited and you're standing up and yelling because you got to make noise because otherwise no one will there. Right. So you got to like try to be loud, and so all this kind of stuff, and you never really like home run like statue, like no, that never happened.
Just because like.
But every day.
Yeah.
But every day like they tested it, they made sure it worked every day. So like. Okay. The grounds crew dog, we had a grounds crew dog there. The head, and no matter where this dog was in the stadium, as soon as they went to test the statue, like she would just take off sprinting and she would get right in front of it and just jumping up on the fence, like barking so loud at the statue every single day. I have no clue. No clue what breed. She was like, yeah. So she was at the field like every day with us. Like she was awesome.
I love that.
I need every team needs that, but
yeah, I learned we have a dog at Lotte too because I was out the other day playing catch and there was just dog poop. So I learned that there was a dog there. I haven't seen it, but let me make this. That's a big assumption of me. I assume there's a dog that was dog poop that I saw.
I hope it was.
I hope so too. Yeah. There was 2 piles.
Okay, well. Yeah,
they were not next to each other. We're hoping that it was a dog.
Yeah.
That's like me walking through the streets of San Francisco. You don't know if it's human.
That is a fact, but yikes.
Yeah.
We'll stay away from that one. Different podcast.
No, I know. Like I can tell you the A's fans definitely love you and miss you. And I can personally say that because they ask about you sometimes. So
MLB miss you.
Right Field Will posted a picture or video of something like yesterday of when 2012 of like clinching like the playoffs for the first time since like 2003, and like I was like going to sleep and I like saw it, and like I like got chills, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this was so long ago, but like I still remember that. Like it was just such a fun, like I was very fortunate that like I got called up in like the middle of a pennant race, and I got to be a part of that. And like I remember it being like I only pitched like in 7 or 9 games, whatever it was, down the stretch for the A's that year, and I was like I didn't like quite feel like I was like a part of everything. Like I was still excited to be going to the playoffs, but like I wasn't there for like April, May, June, July. So like I wasn't a part of that. I was in AA trying to get up there. So it was just like such a weird, like, yay, we did it.
Yeah.
Like, kind of feeling. You're like,
dynamic.
yeah.
You're still a part of it. It's still.
You are. You absolutely are. And I mean, I grew up an A's fan. Now I get to cover them, and it's just like the coolest. It's like I couldn't imagine a better team to cover, and it's so much fun. And it's like I'm so lucky every single day. And not just me kind of being lame about it.
Have you got to meet Seth Brown yet?
I don't think
outfielder. Yeah.
I know who he is. I'm
Baseman.
trying to remember if, like I physically met him. I think like via Zoom, but not.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so.
There's 3 of us that work out together in the off season. Seth's one of them. And,
he just got promoted recently.
Yeah.
Very
I love Seth. I feel like a lot of people are. I feel like the transactions this year have been quite great.
Yeah. From
just the amount of injuries and double headers and everything else, and
just it's a shit show over here. So
it's a beautiful shit show. We had baseball and it happened.
And it's back, and you're living it up over in South Korea, but we miss you and we want you to come back.
We definitely want you back, and I can promise you we're like, I mean, I'm so jealous that you don't get as much. I mean, you get like less shit from fans over there, but you know, it's kind of a different atmosphere this year. I feel like they're definitely happy baseball's back. I mean, obviously people are always going to be crappy, but it's the first season where I'm like not as worried about many. I haven't had to, go to Twitter support as much as I would have used to this season.
Well,
Twitter support.
Thank God for that.
Yeah. Dan, you've been phenomenal, and we had so much fun, and thanks for tuning in. And I'm sorry that you couldn't drink with us, but I think
hope you got lots of coffee in.
You got tons of coffee in your system, and
that's how.
Thank you guys for tuning in to Cork'd Up, and we will see you next time.